to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
See, bro, Mama Stiles, she's on maternity leave. Rosenberg, we are here, and today we have mayoral hopeful Joycelyn Taylor. What's going on, Joycelyn?
Good morning, guys. How are
We are blessed. She represents East New York. She represents the Pink Houses, and she's running for mayor of the city. Now, Joycelyn, being a political figure is not something everybody seeks out. Either you start really young and you work your way up through politics, or, you know, some people, you know, they just want to really be in public service. You're in private business now, and you want to go into public service. Tell us why.
You know, I think like most of your listeners and most people in this city, I'm tired. I'm tired of us seeing the same things happen over and over again and not seeing any results. There's not a law, policy, or procedure in this country that hasn't been implemented by an average man or woman. And if these things aren't working, we have to fix them. God created heaven and earth, whether you believe in God, spirit, universe. They created heaven and earth. We've created homelessness, food insecurity, a failing education system, and a police system that just doesn't work for us. If we created those things, we have the power and ability to change them. We just need someone in leadership who has the drive to be able to create those change, and I think I'm that person.
Many of the things you pointed out, homelessness, some of the other things you pointed out with unemployment, these other things are almost directly tied to the wealth gap and corporate greed and irresponsibility. How, as a public figure, as a mayor, do you expect to keep these corporations in check and take care of people?
Well, the reality of the situation is that we can't be impressed with people with money and afraid of them at the same time. We have to have these conversations and give them some kind of understanding how none of us are our best selves by ourselves. And all of us need to contribute at different levels. That's just the way the world is. That's how we created it. So as leader of the city, I'm going to have those hard conversations to let them to understand that we need their support in this moment. But I'm also going to come with some results and a vision to be able to show them how this is not long term. If we address homelessness in a way that we actually eradicate it, we don't have to invest in homelessness anymore. You know, if we invest education in a way that, you know, obtains long-term results, we can see people who are working and who are thriving and have purpose in this city.
Now, you have some formidable opponents here. What do you have to do to get your message out there and beat some of these more known, more established opponents in this race?
Well, you know, one of the things I have to do is what I'm doing with you guys right today. I'm going out and, you know, I'm seeking opportunities to use platforms to get my message out there. But I am a traditional candidate in the sense that I go out every day. I hand out flyers. I speak to potential constituents to spread the word. And I ask everyone, if you support this campaign, that support and change are action words. If you support this campaign, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm not going down the traditional path because there are markers that tradition uses to determine if somebody is viable. I may never meet those markers, but you know, when I go out and I meet people every day, one of the things they say to me is that I want to vote for you. You know, you understand what's going on. So, you know, I'm going to do the things that I need to do to create success. And that's what we need in this city anyway. A mayor who's willing to be hardworking, compassionate, and is going to bring some common sense to the position.
You run a contracting business now? You're in business?
Yes.
As far as like small businesses, independently owned businesses, speak to how you can help reprioritize that for this city, because New York City is a place that is about businesses and local businesses, right? Obviously, there's the major corporations here, but there's a lot of business owners that keep this city going, and right now they're hurting. Talk about how you're going to reignite the economy and grow it, for that matter.
Yeah, and as a small business owner myself, I can relate to what's going on for small businesses at this moment. My own business is struggling right now, so I get it. But I also understand that the city spends $22 billion of the procurement of goods and services. If we reallocate those funds or distribute those funds equity, if we distribute opportunities equitably amongst not just large corporations, but small businesses as well, how we're going to have to. That's how we'll be able to have these small businesses actually thrive and grow. There's a huge amount of opportunity just working with the city of New York itself. So we have to open up the gates and allow others to be able to have that opportunity. Also, there's a lot of opportunity for the city to invest in hiring different people within the city to do things. That's how we're going to bring the economy back. If you put people to work, then that's how the economy grows. That's how, our tax base grows. And those are the things that we need to look at. That's my vision for the city.
What have you most learned from the de Blasio administration? He's a regular on our show. We definitely like him personally. He's a good dude. But we've also seen sort of the missteps and being caught between, kind of stuck in the middle, not liberal enough, not conservative enough. What have you learned from what Bill de Blasio has done wrong and done right?
I think, the things that I've learned from his administration is, one, that we need to be more proactive. We're running the city in a reactive manner where things happen and we respond to it. The pandemic has shown us that having a plan of action, planning is key with everything. You got to be prepared for whatever can happen. So I think his administration has shown me that. Also, it's shown me that, you have to surround yourself by the right leadership. You don't have all the answers. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to tap into other people that are going to bring those ideas and bring those solutions to the table so that we can see the results that we need to see for the citizens of the city.
You lived in this city during Mayor Dinkins, and
Yes.
You saw the racism, the vitriol, the treatment that came to Dinkins from the racists working at the NYPD. Many of those people, I am told, still hold positions at the NYPD, maybe even at the unions that represent the NYPD. You had a police union here, the NYPD Sergeants Benevolence Association, I think, endorsed Donald Trump. For the first time in history, they decided now this guy is the guy that we want to, stand next to.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to directly address and eradicate these white supremacists that operate within the NYPD?
It's what you said is very telling, that for the first time when you want to stand up and, support someone, this is who you decide to support. So that's very telling. But listen, racism has no place in this country. Racism has no place in this city. And, from my perspective, the thing that we have to understand is this: we can't have a union that is in this city to protect and serve people and provide safety for people, and we have to be afraid of the union. That doesn't make any sense. That has to change. So at the end of the day, my relationship with the union, I hope that we have a great relationship, but I plan to hold everybody accountable in this city. Because if, racism exists and we're trying to eradicate it, but what we're not going to do is we're not going to condone it, and we're not going to be culpable in allowing these practices to continue.
Do you think that you as mayor will be more proactive? You said you wanted to be proactive, but will you be more proactive in going after police officers who have reoccurring issues in dealing with the communities they serve?
Most certainly, because when you become a police officer, you're taking a oath to serve, right? And you can't give people the power of life and death in their hands and not have no level of accountability. I mean, you must have the strictest level of accountability for someone that you've allowed to have the power of life and death in their hands. So yes, there'll be accountability. I mean, when you go to your job, and we talk about this all the time, people on their everyday jobs, if you go to your job and you're not performing, what happens? They let you go. Mm-hmm. If you work in customer service and you have 152 complaints, you're not there for the 153rd. So when we have police officers, we have to have, this position is very, very important in this city. We have to hire the right people. We have to hold people accountable. And it should be about making sure that people in this city are safe.
Have you talked to, or do you have a relationship with people like Jumaane Williams, or Tish James, who's the current Attorney General, or any of these individuals who also represent the great borough of Brooklyn and have been active in public service for years? Have you spoke to them? Do you have a relationship with them?
I know them. I have not spoken to them in relation to my campaign. This campaign is really grassroots. Most of the conversations that I'm having are with everyday people, is with activists, is with people in, the nonprofit community. So I haven't really had many conversations with elected officials.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because, it's always interesting for those of us that don't do the work to say what we want to do when we get the job. But it's always useful to talk to people who have seen it up close, the bureaucracy, the corruption, firsthand, to see, how things are actually moving, right? And I remember when de Blasio became mayor, we talked to him, like Rosenberg said, several times on this program, and I would always tell him, the rich, racist elites in this city are the ones that keep your name plastered all over the cover of the paper in a negative way. And they attack you and they attack you. And even the police officers who turned their back to Mayor de Blasio when he was trying to dismantle stop and frisk and hold police officers accountable. Like, they operate, and as you can see by the insurrection and the white domestic terrorist temper tantrum that took place last Wednesday, there were cops. I read articles that said there was FDNY out there, that there were military out there, school teachers out there that were running up in the Capitol, all because they wouldn't overturn black votes in Atlanta, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Philly that gave them the swing states. Mm-hmm. And so this is what's operating in the that's not even the underbelly anymore, on full display in this country. And it's just whomever takes the reins of this city is going to have to openly and directly, deliberately address the racism that exists in New York City and has existed for a long time. New York City tries to act mad liberal, but New York State does too. But we can see there's Trump supporters right here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How are you going to deal with that?
Well, as it relates to meeting with elected officials about the bureaucracy and everything that's going on, you almost don't have to meet with them, because I see the results of the bureaucracy. I see the results of the inaction. As it relates to those in the media and with power, like I said before, we can't be impressed with people with money and power and afraid of them at the same time. Listen, those people are not the people that are going to be voting for me anyway. If I continue to work and go down the path that I need to go down in order to be successful in this campaign, that will show them better than I can tell them everything that they need to know. This is a pivotal moment. People are tired of it. And I'm not going to people asking them for permission to end racism, to end the practices and policies and procedures that are racist. I'm not asking for permission for that, because people that have implemented these things for years at no point are going to give permission for it. How many years do you wait? 400, 500 years? I don't know what the number is, but I am going to go in and intentionally dismantle these racist practices. I see it every day. I see it in, when I'm trying to do business with the city. I see it in our education system. I see it in our housing system. But I'm not going into it, focusing on changing their mindset. We may never change their mindset. On some levels, maybe racism is a mental health issue. But what I can control and what I can change are these policies and procedures that impact Black and brown communities and even other struggling poor communities that aren't working.
One of Mayor de Blasio's biggest failures is homelessness and figuring out where to put shelters, et cetera, et cetera. And the reason it's a problem is because the places he's proposed to put shelters, the communities block him from putting those shelters. So as he continues to go around, we should put a shelter here, no, over here. People are like, no, we can't have it. We're not going to do it. And he runs into roadblock upon roadblock. And these are problems that he inherited from Bloomberg, who was supposed to be doing real estate deals that were supposed to have affordable housing and other things in them. And come to find out, it wasn't done the way it was said it was going to be done. How do you propose fixing and finding places for the homeless?
Well, one of the things that I said is if you want to address homelessness, you got to give homeless people addresses. The shelter system isn't working. We're literally spending $3.2 billion on a system that's failing. How do you spend $3.2 billion and people don't have any place to live? That's a lot of money. You can build 20,000 units with $3.2 billion. So my vision is to operate in a different way, in a different perspective. My vision is to reinvest in homelessness in a way where we actually provide the homeless with addresses. We actually provide them with some place to live, the resources that they need in order to be whole, whether that be mental health services, whether it be medication. I mean, we have to work towards the results that we want to see. We can't continue to spend money and not see any results. It just doesn't make any sense.
Her name's Joycelyn Taylor. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure on this road we're going to be hearing from you again. Good luck to you, and thank you for coming on our program. Any words you want to share with the audience, before we conclude the conversation?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate you both for having me on. Congratulations to Laura on the birth of her daughter. I just want to tell the audience this. We talk about change all the time, but I always say that change and support are action words. And if you want to see change, you have to get involved and you have to support candidates who may not be in mainstream media, but have your best interests at heart. So if you support this campaign, I need for you to do three things. I need you to go to my website at taylor42021.com and donate to the campaign. I also need you to sign up to volunteer and to spread the word, because it's only through working together that we're going to really be able to create the change that we see. We need to see.
Joycelyn Taylor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joycelyn. Good luck.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, take care.
Take care, Joycelyn.